In this video, we're going to be remodeling my oldest Minecraft village ever. This is the village of Survival, and it is the oldest Minecraft village I have ever constructed. Now, as you can see, it looks like this village needs a little bit of an update. And we're also going to be merging it with this village over here. This town is called Birch Forest. Now, these two towns are very close to each other, but in this video, we're going to be combining Survival and Birch Forest to form one big mega town. So without further ado, let's get started with today's video. So this is the village of Survival before any changes have been made. Now, the first thing we need to do is we need to clean out some of the clutter in this village. Now, I like the flag, but it has to go. And the same thing with this huge skyscraper and all of these pool designs that I have over here. All of it has to go. So now we are going to go ahead and put a church in the center of the town here, as well as some other houses. And we're just going to kind of cover up everything like these market areas here. So I have several different house designs. All of these building designs are from the village of Or's Rest. If you watch that video, that's where I originally made all these, but I have these saved as schematics. I can just go ahead and paste in this map here. So we have some houses now, and this building right here is a tavern. So I'm gonna go ahead and edit that a little bit and put it in the village. Now we have to take out this wall piece right here, and we're gonna go ahead and start building the canal, because there is a canal that I manually made back when I first built the town. However, it is a very narrow canal, and it needs to be a lot bigger and better in order to fit the size and scale of this new village. So as you can see right here, I have to do a lot of grading, and I have to also kind of take away some of this park right here. But next, I am going to go ahead and put some more buildings down, because all of these buildings that are existing are going to end up getting replaced with the new buildings. And as you can see, the town already looks a lot better than it did before, even though we are only about a quarter of the way done with actually replacing all the buildings. So this building up here is the boarding house, and that's that tall one right there that you can see. And now that the boarding house is there, we're going to go ahead and find some shops, and we're going to go ahead and paste those shops on the other side of the street for the boarding house. Now we're going to go ahead and take apart this wall and these trees here. I had this entire village walled off. However, for the new village, I'm going to go ahead and just remove that wall entirely, because it doesn't really look that great. And now what we're going to do is just take apart some of these buildings, put some more shops down, and you know, just make this area look a lot nicer. So we have this part here. We're going to cover up this park now with another boarding house, a tavern, and some shops are going to go on this side, and just basically cover up the entire park. Now I can go ahead and smooth out this terrain right here, and we're going to keep building the canal. There is another tavern there. It is starting to rain, but there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. We're going to go ahead and straighten out this canal. This is a very hard task to do because it's very rocky. I just took TNT to blow it up before, and the town of Survival was actually built in the year 2020, so it is several years old. But as you can see, we are completely remodeling it, and it is already looking a lot better than it did before. So now we are going to go ahead and merge into the Birch Forest side of the town, where we're going to put some other buildings. So we have some barracks that are going to go right there. And then there's going to be some markets that go over here. And just as an FYI, this town name is actually Survich, because that is Survival and Birch Forest kind of mixed together. So that's what I decided to name this town. We have some stables here. The sand wasn't working very well for a lot of these buildings, as it was falling when I was trying to paste this schematic. So I did have to replace the sand with either sandstone or grass for these buildings. But as you can see here, we're going to take apart this road area and just kind of do some more detailing terrain work. Even though we're just pasting the schematics, it's very important to make sure that the buildings are blending in with the terrain. You can't have steep ledges or anything like that. Now we're going to take the castle for Or's Rest and put it up here, and I have to do a lot of work to remodel this castle to fit this village. So I should take apart that entire side right there, as you just saw, and then this is a part of the arena, which we're going to take off, and then this is the back side of the mountain. And now we're just going to go ahead and put some grass as a base, and we're going to go ahead and smooth out the walls. We need to fix the walls because they were messed up from before. The castle was built in the terrain of Or's Rest, and the terrain here is different. So we're going to paste the castle here kind of over top of these plains, and you'd have to readjust it so that way the door, the entrance lines up with the road. But as you can see now, all we have to do is just do some more grading. That building next to it, says Minecraft the Ultimate World, will eventually go away, but I'm not going to remove it in this video. I'm going to wait. there's a lot of other junk here that needs to be taken out. All these little rinky-dink roads and stuff need to go, and the terrain does need to be smoothed out even more. So at this stage, you know, there is still some high terrain, so I have to chop that down and kind of smooth it out. And at this point, we're going to try to put an arena in here, but after several chances, the arena didn't work out, so I'm just going to go ahead and put some other farmhouses here instead. I do think the village needs more houses, so those extra 3 houses are definitely a great addition to the village. Now, there's a lot of terrain work I have to do here because those were quite some large buildings I had to remove. I have to take out the road, and now this is the village of Birch Forest, but basically what I'm going to do is just remove all of it entirely because it looks awful and it doesn't fit with the theme at all, and I don't really think that the village needs to be any larger than it is. I might build a dock or something in the future, but for right now, this entire swamp area is just going to be restored. So as you can see, the water is just going to go back in there like that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some dark oak planks and put them on the side of the canal. I wanted to do that, but I ended up skipping that till the end. As you can see, it looks a lot nicer and more realistic with the dark oak planks as kind of, you know, a wooden barrier, so that way the rocks don't fall into the canal. I'm going to put a fence around that though and build a bridge so that way you can get to this area from the main land. And now I'm going to use red concrete and just mark out where I want all the roads. I'm going to just use Road Edit to make the terrain of the roads later, but I'm just marking that out, and then there is going to be a nice diagonal bridge I build in between the rivers here. I love the village of Survich because it has like all these different rivers that all connect together, so it's a very strategic place to build a medieval village like this. The last thing I am going to do is put some trees in, because, you know, the trees have to go well, and these are actually birch trees, so this is the first time, this is my first build where I am using birch trees in the build, and that's just because we're building this in a birch forest. So I'm going to basically cover up all the plains with trees and also put a barrier around that other building I said I was going to remove. So it is raining again. There is one other thing I need to do, and that is build some carts in the village and actually put some villagers in this village. So as you can see, I did the terrain already for the road, so that's done, but I am just going to go ahead and fill this area in with carts. So as you can see here, basically I just paste the cart, which I had from Orthwest also, and then I am going to put some red concrete around, and put a villager inside the cart, and at the very end I'll go ahead and just replace all the red concrete with a barrier block, which you can't see. There you go. And now here is a showcase of Survich. So as you can see here, we're going to go down through the market over this bridge right here, and then we're going to go up to the castle. All of these buildings do have a full interior, by the way. I know you can't really see that in this video, but they do. If you watch my Orthwest video, you'll see me build all the interiors. But anyways, this is just the village, and I think that this turned out as a fantastic build. You know, just taking that design I had for survival and just remodeling it with my updated builds really turned this build around.